Is there something that you are interested in? Is there something you want to change that requires your passion, your care, your concern, and your learning? In the 30th hexagram, we're going to explore fire, lightness, the desire, the sense of being all in the experience of what you care about changing. This is a wake up epic experience. So what we're going to do is wrap movement and a little bit of embodiment around the key themes of the 30th hexagram. In the gene keys, the shadow of the 30th hexagram, or the gene key, is desire. So we'll look at that briefly through that lens of shadow. The gift of it is lightness. The city of it is rapture. So first of all, just get a sense of those words. Now we're going to do an embodied experience, and we'll do a little bit of belief alignment because there's a few angles of attack or approach to take. And the purpose of this is for you to have your own unique experience of these themes so that you can move forward in your life. So let's make it relevant. What are you interested in? What are you interested in changing? And what are you interested in changing that you're also struggling with to learn and to find flow with? Because wherever you're not able to come into the world because of your state that you're experiencing or the way you're thinking about things and the beliefs you might be holding about yourself or about the situation, we'll take a look at that. So what is the embodied experience? Well, we'll use UZAZU, the mind-body modality, to build the hexagram line by line. So when we look at the hexagram, we've got yang, yin, yang, which is to say forward, down, and wide. It's the bottom trigram. And it's also actually the top trigram. We'll come back to that in a moment. So try this. You're sitting or you're standing. The first dimension here is to move into the world. Now, to even move into the world, we want to explore, is it safe and okay to be here with each other, here with the environment, here in the space, to take up some space? Second thing is we want to come down, right? Second dimension here is down, is yin. So we're more sensing, more gravity, more listening, more in our flesh, less in our mind. Already, can you get a sense of being interested? Now, here's where it gets really interesting, I think, because the third dimension is to go wide. Now, if you were really interested in one thing, like focus on something very intensely. So there's a way in which you're connecting just to one thing specifically. Now, turn your attention to a number of things in front of you, like almost like you're letting your peripheral vision go. This is what we're doing with our awareness when we take our body wide, or we're using our body to represent our awareness and to help guide it and to help us find our own way with it. So we've got forward, down, wide. This creates a position or a mode of awareness called field. So we're fielding. This is also fire in the I Ching. This is the hexagram, the trigram of fire, so the element of fire. So think about your interest, your passion, the flame of your curiosity, lighting the way and receiving the light of the inspiration, the information, the wisdom, the experiences that you would have if you're on a journey learning and listening and sensing. So we've got that as the bottom of the hexagram, and also as the top. What does that mean? It means that the embodied story is something like this. In a world of interesting things, in a world of harmony, ideal, you can be in harmony, can be interested. And as someone who's playing the role or is doing something that is interested and in harmony with the world, I'm creating, or I'm going towards more and more and more harmony. So let's do that again, because there's a few pieces. In a world of interesting things and harmony, I am playing the role of someone who's interested and in harmony. And in doing that, I'm adding to and listening to a world or greater self that has a sense of harmony and interest. Now, I'm doubling up on these themes because we're really interested here with the top and the bottom trigram both being fire or field, in how when we look at the world through that lens on which we're doing, it doubles up those themes. It amplifies those themes. It's a really interesting feedback loop. So hopefully this is making a little bit of sense. So then what is desire through this lens? Well, it's going to be blocked. We're going to block these movements. What is lightness? Well, it's what arises. It's your capacity to be in an interesting world, being an interested person, in a harmonious world, allowing there to be harmony. What is the desire? Well, it might be to be in an interesting world, but block it, like not actually allow yourself to pay attention and to invest in what's interesting. What are you going to have out of that? I wish, I desire, I want that, but I can't go there. And how many experiences are you having these days that are experiences of you're in an abundant world of interesting things that could potentially have a lot of flow for you, but it's not okay to get out there and actually express your interests. And for whatever reason, something in your past, you don't have the habit of it. And so what you're left with is that gap and the desire. But it's only desire and it's not action. And that's not a problem, it's just a tension. So can you tolerate in your experience the tension of that desire? And then with using these movements, just allow there to be some flow. And if you're allowing there to be some of this forward, down, and wide flow, then you're choosing implicitly to embody a state of interest and passion and harmony in the space you're in. And I know this is probably overly simple, but it's a great start. And if you spend a few minutes with us, you may start to become aware of where you've got that tension of desire and where you're not letting yourself act or receive. Let's turn our attention to a few beliefs. These beliefs come straight out of looking at the hexagram through the lens of UZAZU. So to do this, you could use EFT and tap. I'm going to invite you just to bring your hand to your heart and feel your body while you say these words. Now there's four belief statements. Now these are core to the pattern of fire on fire of the 30th hexagram, gene key and human design gate. So here we go. So feel as you say it. I'm able to be well adapted and in harmony with the groups I'm part of. Now I'm going to actually allow for myself just a little bit of movement to keep that sense of the field, of the mobility, the harmony going, okay? You can do it too, just gentle waving, kind of like seaweed. I seek harmony and shared well-being in my family, groups, and society. I acknowledge what isn't working for my group, and I'm willing to introduce new solutions. I dare to bring new approaches, even when it's against the status quo. So now consider what the contribution is as you integrate those ideas and things that are related to it. The fundamental capacity to serve up in harmonious interaction and interest with others. Imagine what the contribution is. Who do you become? Are you willing to? What do you have to let go of? There's a timeliness to this, a right place, right time, right person, right situation. You probably know what it's like to experience synchronicity or coincidence, to have a thought and then run into it later, to share something you care about and then something you need shows up. Are you willing to have more of that? Okay, let's pause for a moment. Now, part of where this can go is including and wrapping your exercise or your movement practices around these themes also. So what do we have here? I'm just going to touch on it lightly. We've got extension of our spine. When you lean forward, your spine needs to be strong and stable, but also supple. So there's a stability and a suppleness. You can practice that by engaging your core as if you're going to hit yourself, but you want to be stiff and braced in your abdomen. And then lean forward and let your chin gently come forward, which just creates a bit of an extension through your spine. So it's a nice way to just look at the movement pattern. Second thing is shoulders. There's a lot going on potentially with shoulders. So if you have any shoulder issues, any limited range of motion, then here's two stretches you can play with. The first is to take your hands gently behind your back. You can do this. Take your hands behind your back, something like this, and gently, for about 4 seconds, press your hands into your body, which activates front of your shoulders and your pecs, helps stabilize the joint itself, and then relax. You can do that a few times. Hold for about 4 seconds, activate, get your brain to know that this position in your shoulder is safe, and then relax. So if you've got a little bit of pain, a little bit of mobility issues, that can help. If you need more help, please find an expert physical therapist or someone who can support you. The second movement, and I'll give you two options. One is to grab your elbow and gently pull it just until you feel a stretch across the back of your shoulder. Second option, if you've got more range of motion, you can do something like an eagle stretch from yoga. Let's keep it simple though. So gentle pull across gives some length to the posterior muscles of your shoulder, shortens the muscles in the front of your shoulder. Then you're going to try to take your elbow out. So you're pushing that way while holding it with your hand. And again, for about 4 seconds. And what we're doing is we're creating a stability in a range of motion. Now this is very stabilizing, obviously, but it sets you up for movement. And I'll come back to our field and why this is relevant in just a minute. So release, let go. You should notice that range of motion can increase, or maybe the pain decreases. One of the two, maybe a little bit of both. So a little bit of a push for a few seconds, let your brain realize that this is safe and you've got this, and then let it go. Okay, so creating this stable and supple combination is extremely helpful for something like field, for embodying this state of interest and harmony, because you need to have a sense of yourself, a sense of valuing yourself and what you're interested in, and that needs to be stable enough that allows you to get out there and explore and take risks. So just like if your shoulder isn't stable in a particular range of motion, you're not going to want to do things big and fast. You don't want to take risks if the underlying stability isn't there. Similarly, allowing yourself to feel passionate and interested is a fantastic foundation for actually getting out there and starting to learn and take things in and ask people for stuff while honoring your boundaries. And all of that gets us out of an unhealthy relationship with desire in a way that victimizes ourselves and into a sense of lightness and curiosity. And that's true for me. And ooh, want to talk about that? So how rapturous can you get with this and really indulge in the passion and the fieriness of what the world has to offer and what you have to offer the world? So this has been a Wake Up Epic around the 30th hexagram. It can be emotional, it can be challenging, it can be lightening. I hope it's been valuable for you. Watch it again if there's anything especially interesting you want to hear again, or just set a timer and walk yourself through the movements. Probably one of the best things to do. You've already touched on the belief statements, so it's a good start. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. You can find me on YouTube and other places in social media. So thank you so much. Thanks for being epic. Thanks for being uniquely you. And I can't wait to hear what you start to experience.